My name's Lisa Shoesmith. I work for Really Good. We're a gift and greeting card company, and we've been exporting for a number of years. We're 29 years old this year, so we've had quite a lot of experience with exporting, but not with attending overseas trade shows. We've mainly exported to English-speaking countries and have built up quite a base of distributors. And as the business developed about 5-6 years ago into gifts, we decided that we wanted to pick up more gift trade overseas, and so embarked on a 5-year plan, which included attending overseas trade shows. As part of this, we invested in the Passport to Export course that's offered by the UKTI. It was a great 2-day course at focusing our mind on what we had to offer as a UK designer and a UK company, and that really helped us develop our strategy. So in terms of selecting which trade shows to attend, the first thing we did was go to a number of different trade shows. We used to go to Hong Kong as buyers, so we were very aware of the trade show there, and we also attended the London Book Fair to consider whether we wanted to do the Frankfurt Book Fair. We went to Tendance in Frankfurt as a precursor to exhibiting at Ambiente, and we also went to Maison Objet in Paris. We started with Hong Kong. It was suggested to us, firstly we knew the venue, so I think that really helps, but it was also suggested to us by one of our distributors as a great place to pick up other distributors. So we started with that one. So having researched the shows, it's also good to know what sort of target audience they get, whether it is distributors, whether it's retailers, and whether they're relevant to you. Some of that can be done by talking to other people. Sometimes you just need to be there to know about that. Consider the budget that you've got and what you want to spend. Obviously, travelling to Hong Kong is significantly more expensive than going to Paris, so you have to take that into account. And also the time of year the shows are, how that fits into your own schedule here, and the UK shows that you attend. The NEC quite often runs straight into Ambiente, so you may end up having to leave the NEC early in order to, the Spring Fair early in order to get to Ambiente, or you've got a small break in between. They can be quite important decisions if you're a small business as to what you do. And then if you've decided which show you want to go to, the position within that show can be very important to you. As at the NEC, at the Spring Fair, we have a number of different gift halls. Where you might want to be within those gift halls is a decision you have to make, and that's the same in any overseas trade show. A good place to start is in the British Pavilion. You get a lot of support from them. You buy a space, but they set up a lot of it for you. For example, turning up with a laptop and no adapter and not being able to plug your laptop in for 4 days isn't the best start. If you're in the UK Pavilion, they've already provided you with a British plug. So something like that is great. And have you got the right people to take? That's also another thing to think about. Not everybody in your business is going to be the right person to go to an overseas trade show. And then in terms of managing the costs from travel and transportation, booking early. The earlier you can book, the better deals you can get, discounts you can get, and availability you can get, and more choice on hotels. We quite often try to stay within walking distance of any exhibition that we're doing, because then you're not having to worry so much about public transport, trying to get on trams, buses when you don't really know where you're going, and also the cost of that. In Frankfurt, for example, the trams and local transport is all covered by your exhibitor ticket, so you don't have to worry about that cost, but it can add 15-20 minutes to your day. Shop around. We quite often look direct with airlines and hotels, as well as using travel websites like Expedia to help put a whole package together. And grants. Be aware that grants do exist from the UKTI and through various different associations. So the Book Publishers Association can provide you with grants as new exhibitors, as can you can apply for them through the Giftware Association as well. And these can be a real help for a small business in terms of covering some of the costs. In terms of transportation of the stand and accessories, I'd say the biggest thing is to be practical. There are some great shippers out there that you can communicate with them, get some good quotes. I would say that the cheapest doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best. You have to have a relationship with them and learn about how they work. You can also ship it yourselves. I often find sending our goods to Hong Kong can be very expensive using a shipper. So we box it up and send it direct to our hotel, jump in a taxi when we get there, take it to the stand, set up. On the way back, we both take an extra suitcase, and we pack all the stock into our suitcases but pay for an extra bag to fly it home, and that works out to be significantly cheaper than using the shippers. It depends on the type of product you've got. We're lucky, ours are quite small, compact, we can pack things inside things. But it's about being practical, be flexible, think of innovative ideas that can help save you money. And if you don't need to bring the stock back, then don't, because then you don't have to worry about it. You can, in some shows, sell it off on the last day. Hong Kong's a good example of that. You can sell it off, and therefore you don't need to ship anything home. Just one more thing on that. We did have a situation actually where we were in New York at a show and had a box that didn't turn up. Luckily, it was the box of stationery and catalogues, so we worked around that, but you do have to be aware that things like that do happen, and you might need to go out shopping and try and put something together to so be prepared for every eventuality, really. In terms of getting results from the overseas trade shows, it's about following up the leads and keep following up the leads. We're still following up leads from people that we probably met 3 years ago. Let them know when you're going back to the show, invite them back. We send out a mail shot telling them where we're going to be, who's going to be on the stand, asking them to book appointments. We then follow that up with a personal email from somebody they will have met at the show. That personal touch can help. The more you follow up with them, the more likely you are that they'll get in touch with you. And have some patience. It can take up to 3 years, unfortunately, to be noticed at any overseas trade show. We've done 3 years of some of the shows that we've done, and we're just embarking on the 4th of some of them. And on the 3rd year, we had a significant amount more people go, "Oh, I remember you from last year. I spoke to you last year." And it's great if you've got a good facial recognition, you can remember details about them. I think that really helps for them to know that you've remembered them and remembered about their business. So be patient. And then in terms of working within export margins and whether to go direct to retailer or with distributors, margins can be difficult to achieve when you're exporting. The distributors want great prices because they then need to make a margin to pass it on. You need to keep an open mind about how to work. We ship to some of our distributors direct from China. We hive off stock, hold it with sometimes with the factory, sometimes with a different warehouse, and send it off from there, consolidate it with other things to send off from there. We have also had to start considering other types of deals, so potentially a distributor dealing direct with our factory themselves. So we get paid a license, but they deal with the factory themselves. By doing that, we know that the product is at the standard that we would expect, that everything else is the same, but we don't have to deal with shipping it and sorting all of that out because they do that for us. So you might need to be creative to get the right deal. It's thinking outside the box and considering everything. Don't say no to anything. And I would also say that just go direct to retailers as well as distributors. In some countries, the big retailer that you want to deal with, the distributor you've chosen may not have a relationship with them. If you can get your goods into that retailer, it'll help that distributor because it helps grow the brand. And we've done that in one country in particular, and it's had quite a good impact.